All right. Weather Extra. Friday night edition. Yay. Jeff is off Saturday. Yay. So I hope everybody had a good day today. Rainfall. So last night I'm on here, Weather Extra, and I say, hey, I'm going to keep an isolated shower or storm in for the overnight. Glad I did. I mean, they waited until almost 4 o'clock to pop, but they did. And then we had a little burst of rain this morning, and then a break in the action. And then there was another burst in the afternoon. The one thing about the rainfall today, it was another day where some areas had it, some areas missed out completely, and it could happen in your own neighborhood where you can have like one house get 2 inches and then down the road get nothing. And we actually had that happen here right at the station. I was getting ready to go. We were on air, and it was pouring here at the station. We're on the north side of 565. Down in the intersection, we have a camera there on the parkway, like 565 interchange, on the south side of 565, and it didn't rain. And I was like, oh, well, you know, the rain's going to move south, and I can just get some video, and I'll put it on my page to show people it's raining. It didn't get there for like almost 35 minutes. It poured here for 35 minutes, and literally as far as I can throw a baseball, they didn't have a drop of rain for 35 minutes. And I can throw a baseball pretty far, but I didn't have to because it's not that far. So yeah, crazy stuff. And I think the biggest surprise in the forecast today was how far west those numbers are. I'm going to show you the rainfall totals. And this is just estimated rainfall from our little radar thing. But I didn't expect that much rain west of I-65. That surprised me today. All right, I'm going to pull this up so you can see it. And what I do is, how to interpret this graphic is the light blue is the lower amounts, the greens are higher, yellow and red, if we had it, would be the highest, and then areas that are still brown or the color of the map didn't have really anything registered rainfall-wise, or observed, I should say. So there's your totals, some gaudy numbers, some areas 2 inches of rain. Near Research Park in 565, 2.3 inches of rain. Toyota Field, I don't think even had rain. But Zert Road did. I'm not kidding you. All right, I'm going to zoom into a whole bunch of different places. So my friend D, who lives in the Anderson area, said he had 3 inches of rain. Our estimate is about 2, maybe a little more than that. Pulaski had some really heavy rain. Towards Northwest Alabama Regional Airport, it really poured. But Florence had hardly anything. So, yeah, that's the way it works. Tuscumbia, hardly anything. Hillsboro, hardly anything. Somebody told me, I heard thunder all day and I didn't get any rain. Yep, you hear storms that are around you, but they're not next to you. Elkmont area picked up about 1.8. Then in Huntsville, my house, Northwest Huntsville, 0.2. Downtown Huntsville, probably over an inch, and there were some areas that had over 1.5 inches. And notice the big drop-off on 565. Research Park, poured. Nothing hardly to the west of that, right? Did well over there in Moores Mill, too. Well, mainly south of Moores Mill. And then it was, Jackson County was crazy. Like, some areas had over 1.5 inches to 2 inches, and then there's a big block of nothing west of 72. Then you go down to Coleman County, where it absolutely poured down towards Crane Hill and south of 278, even north of 278, some pretty good rain. So you get the idea. You get the total gist of how this works. And my good friend Mike Gentle, no rain at his house. He let me know that, Decatur area. So the rain, told you it would rain itself out by 9 o'clock. It's right on time. The rainfall is done, and now we focus on temperatures. Today, that's another thing too. The temperatures today, wacky, right? So when I came into work, it was 95 in the Shoals, or 94. And then they added that thunderstorm that hit the airport and dropped the temperature to 73 in like 10 minutes. When I came into work, I had a combination of mid-70s and mid-90s across the board. It just depends if you had rain or not. Or not even if you had the rain. If it was in the vicinity of where you live, it cooled the air. So pretty crazy, right? Wild stuff. Hi, Donna. Good to see you. Hello from Trinity, where we got 0 drops of rain. Yeah. I think I'm almost convinced, and I don't think this is real, but I'm just going to say this. I'm almost convinced that there is a dome over the Decatur area because it's amazing. I think there was a little bit of rain in Decatur this morning, but I mean, it's like left and right and up and down, and Decatur's like me. Trinity not too far away. It's a really cute house in Trinity for sale right Katie Smith, another rain for us this afternoon. Yes, you did well, Katie. You did well. You had a little rain this morning too, right? If I remember correctly. So the forecast for tonight, obviously the rain's all stopped. Partly cloudy. I put patchy fog. If you had rain today, you will have a much higher chance for some fog overnight. And that fog will impact your Saturday morning commute. If you're trying to do a little bit of mowing tomorrow, like myself, hopefully I won't have any fog and things can dry out pretty quick at the house, because I'm sure it will be kind of damp and, trying to mow when the grass is still wet, but I need to cut my grass. Like I'm going to get a citation from Huntsville soon if I don't cut my grass. I've been so busy this week. So weekend forecast, we turn our attention away from rain and we put it on heat. And 95, 95 Saturday, Sunday. There's no showers to cool you off this weekend. Like today, some of you caught a break with the temperatures because you had rain for a good chunk of the afternoon. Not the case this weekend. And those temperatures aren't going anywhere from a Monday and Tuesday. It's going to be just as hot and humid. What do I got next? I think I got Aaron. I want to talk about Aaron. So Aaron's a hurricane now, everybody. Tropical storm up until this, I think it was this afternoon or like right before noon. I said it would be morning. Sometime by noon, it would probably become a hurricane. So I'm going to pull the graphic up so you can see the numbers a little bit closer. So it is a Category 1 hurricane with 85-mile-per-hour winds, and that's sustained. That's not counting the gusts. It's moving pretty quick west-northwest. And just a heads up, everybody, before we get any deeper into this, it's going to move mainly north of the Leeward Islands and then north of the Virgin Islands and also Puerto Rico. There's going to be some effects, but maybe not a direct hit. And just so you know, Barbuda is a different island than Barbados. They're not the same island, okay? I had this happen a couple of years ago. There was a hurricane in Barbuda, and the eye was bigger than the island. And I kept saying Barbuda, and somebody went on my Facebook page, and they were like, dude, it's not Barbuda, it's Barbados. Why don't you just, know what you're talking about? Nope, they're two different islands, everybody. So Barbuda is up by Antigua, and they are north. Barbados is south. Barbados is going to be well south of this track. And this is going to be a rapid intensification. Category 2 by tomorrow afternoon, Category 3 by tomorrow night, Category 4 forecast by Sunday. Put it this way, sustained winds of 145 miles an hour. That's not the gust, that's sustained winds. Think about that. We get a gust of 50 with a thunderstorm, everybody freaks out. 145. Now, that track right there is still going to give some impacts to some of those islands, like the Turks and Caicos Islands. There'll be some probably pretty good rip currents. They'll be on the better side of the hurricane, but still, when you're talking a storm that impressive, it's going to still bring some indirect impacts. And if you have any friends or family that live in Florida and the Carolinas and Georgia, I would not give up on this. This track could easily veer a little bit more west, but right now it looks like more like a rip current issue for the East Coast. Now, when it takes a turn north and east, it may end up being Bermuda that gets the brunt of this sometime by the middle of next week. That's how long hurricanes take to travel. I mean, they're not in a hurry, okay? Things happen slow when it comes to hurricanes. I don't know why it's going backwards. I wanted it to go forward. What is this? Thank you. Thank you. So there you go. So Bermuda's right behind the banner. And Bermuda is not Barbuda or Barbados, okay? So there's a lot of B islands, the Bahamas too. There are a lot of islands. But yeah, it's a pretty impressive potential there. Where it makes landfall is really the big question. Right? At that point, if you follow that track of Hurricane Aaron, there's no landfall made there at that point. I don't know. Maybe it makes landfall in Spain or Portugal or England eventually. I don't know. There was a hurricane when I worked. It was like 2013. Supposedly it hit the Outer Banks. The eye never made it to shore, and it went north, and it eventually made landfall in Newfoundland. But they said, oh, the eye hit the Outer Banks, and they said, oh, I made it here, landfall in North Carolina. That was BS. Never did. So there's Aaron, and that's something that needs to be watched. That's going to make national news, obviously, into the week. Anytime you have, even if it's not making landfall, even if it's not affecting the lower 48, anytime you got a Cat 4 hurricane, I mean, it's going to churn the waters up down there. Eventually pulls up some colder air at the bottom of the ocean. Sometimes that can actually weaken the hurricane a little bit, but it's just a monster hurricane, though. Monster. Serena, hello again. Had some rain today in Hartselle, just a tiny bit. That's good. I'm glad you had a little bit of rain. A little bit's better than nothing, right? A little bit of chocolate's good. Better than none. There you go. Good stuff. Can't say Hartselle without heart. Ray and King, I'm so ready for fall. Bring on the cooler weather. Yeah, well, it's going to be a challenge next couple of days, but fall will be here before you know it. It will arrive sometime by Thanksgiving. No, arrives in a couple weeks. But no fall-like temperatures on that graphic right now, though. Patience will need to be applied for at least midweek. That's some pretty hot stuff. If all those temperatures come to fruition, we might not have that excessive day where it's like 110 or higher, but there'll be a lot of days close to 105. It's right on the criteria for heat advisory. We have heat advisories all around us right now for the weekend, but we don't have any last I checked. I don't know if we're going to add them or not. 104, 105, 103. If you can go outside and tell me the difference between 1 degree or 2 degree, then you are better than I am. I just know it's hot, period, the end. Let me turn my phone off because I'm getting ESPN updates to tell me that the Titans won their preseason game today. I'm very excited. So no break in the action. That's going to be 5 really hot days in a row. And we've had some really hot temperatures this summer, but that's going to be a tough stretch right there. Because now everybody in their back of the mind's like, okay, September's around the corner, and I'm feeling pretty good about fall coming. And then Mother Nature's like, no, 95, 95, 96, 96, 95. Great scores on your test in high school, but not so great if you don't like hot temperatures. Dio from PC is in the house. She got a little rain in Phil Campbell today. Dio, I appreciate the update. What about the Dominican Republic? That's a great question for that, Ray. And I think right now probably not a direct impact, but staying north. I think that little chain of islands, all the way from the Leeward Islands all the way up into Bahamas, all of that is going to just be just south of it. And that is the side of the hurricane that, remember if you were to look at a hurricane straight up, the right side, if I'm looking at you, the right side or your left side on the backwards is the strongest side. But when the hurricane is moving like this, east to west, the right side's on the north side of it. And that means that the weaker side would be south. Doesn't mean there can't be some heavy rain, and there might be some landslides, and that might be a whole other issue there. But we call it as Ginger Z calls it, the dirty side, which I always think is the best way to describe it, would be on the ocean side, not the island side. I hope that makes sense. I pride myself on explanations, and sometimes I can confuse myself. Ray says, does it seem like it will be a very active hurricane season? Well, we've been in hurricane season now since June 1st. June, July, August, September, October, November. 6 months. So it starts June 1st. You can have a hurricane outside of those 6 months, but that's usually the core time you look for hurricanes. It was predicted to be a very busy hurricane season, and so far we've only had 5 named systems in the Atlantic. They were very impactful, though. Barry was a tropical storm. The remnants of Barry caused all the flooding in Texas. There was some flooding in North Carolina with Chantal. Dexter was a fish storm. So this is the first hurricane status of the Atlantic season. We are now getting into the peak hurricane season, so it's hard to answer that question at this point in terms of, will it be an active hurricane season? So far it hasn't been, but that can change really, really fast. Aaron is a great example of how rapid you can have. That was a tropical wave off Africa like 5 days ago. It's become this like potential monster hurricane. So the jury's still out on that, but we'll have to see how things pick up, because so far it's been slow. But if it picks up as we go into September, then the numbers will get to where they should be or where they were predicted to be, which is an active hurricane season in a nutshell. And remember, too, hurricanes, when they get their categories, it's only based on the winds. That's it. There is so much more to a hurricane that causes, it needs the whole process of how categorizing hurricanes is got to be changed. Like, I've said this for years, and people, stupid Jeff doesn't know what he's talking about, but that's all it is. It's based on the wind. You have heavy rainfall with hurricanes, storm surge, the angle that the hurricane hits the land at, the speed it's moving in. You have outer bands that can produce spin-up tornadoes like they had in Florida a couple years ago. That was crazy. All these other factors with hurricanes. And we base the category on one, the wind. That's it. It's just not right. Whitney Houston sang that song really well. Ray said, I'd rather talk about the wind chill than the heat index. Well, the wind chill on Monday will be about 103. I get what you're saying. I'm definitely more of a summer guy. I'm not a big winter fan, but I will say this, though. That's going to be a tough stretch starting tomorrow. We had some good rain today. We had some good rain Wednesday. That will be factored into the next drought monitor update. But after these, up until Monday, the drought monitor is still taking numbers for this next update. So there's going to be 3 really hot and dry days. So I don't know if we're going to see much change in the drought monitor. There's no drought right now, but we're getting to the point now where we really need to get rainfall more often. Maybe the end of next week. Those temperatures that I have on there now, that 84 on Friday may need to actually come up a little bit. I thought it was going to be maybe too hot, but it might have to come up. That air behind with that frontal boundary doesn't quite look as cold now, but deal with that when I get back, because I'm actually off tomorrow. I'm here Sunday, and then I'm off 5 days next week. Yay for me. Do you think next week will be the last of the really hot temps? That's a great question, Katie. I would say no. I think Mother Nature always has something rolled up her sleeve for September, and we always have a couple of those days that pop a 95, 96 based on climatological history. So I would say no to that. Nothing really jumps out in long-term forecast models. It looks like the temperatures actually will be like near normal for most of the beginning of September, which would be like mid to upper 80s, but we'll see what happens. But I wouldn't say completely done yet, though. No. I would say that there's probably one or more. Hi, Teresa. We had a downpour in Moulton. You sure did. Actually, a storm actually went severe for a hot second. Based on 60-mile-an-hour winds. I didn't get any damage reports or anything like that, but I really didn't think we were gonna rain here. Thanks for keeping us updated. I didn't really think you were gonna get rain today either, Teresa. So we can be on the same boat with that. And I get paid to do it, so think about how much of a dork I am. But yeah, I was really surprised how much rain was actually west of I-65. It wasn't a tremendous amount of rain, but it was enough where I was like, well, that didn't work out the way I thought. I really thought most of the rain was going to stay more east or right along the Alabama and Georgia state line, but it certainly played out to be a little bit more than that for some areas. And it was pretty intense rainfall, especially in Lawrence County. When everything kind of played off the boundaries and met up in one spot, that storm had some punch through Lawrence County for sure. Some very heavy rainfall. Ray said, my family's thinking about beach trip early October, but so nervous about hurricanes in the Gulf. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have to be like, and it's not like I can sit here and say, well, there's going to be a hurricane on October 4th. I don't have that ability, but it's definitely like if you're planning a vacation and you put all that money towards it and maybe you can't get the refund back. And yeah, I mean, that's a big issue and certainly a concern. It is every year, right? It's like people who book cruises in hurricane season. Don't! If I'm ever booking a cruise, which I never will because I get boat sick and I will never be on a cruise. But if I were to go on a cruise, I would not go during hurricane season. I would I'd go on like March or February or something. You can still have a hurricane then. We've had hurricanes in January before. But overall, the best or highest chance of having a hurricane would be during hurricane season. So it's a risk, obviously, for sure. Ray says, I would be happy to hear you say first true cool down is on the way. Don't say that 3 times fast. Yeah, that might take a little while, but we'll get there eventually. Can't stay summer forever, right? Can't stay Friday forever either. Tomorrow's Saturday. Hope you all have a great weekend. Newscast coming up at 10. We got all your updated news stories. I'll keep weather coming. Carl's got some sports updates for you. Trash Pandas certainly got their game in tonight. I don't think it was going well last I checked. But at least they got their game in, which is good. That rain's so close to the Toyota field, but I don't think they really got much. So who's on tomorrow? Eric Burke is here tomorrow morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed at 5 a.m. Jada Russ will be here at night. And then I am back Sunday morning, Jada on at night, and that's your weekend crew. We got you covered, and all we're going to say hot and humid probably 500 times each. Should do the over-under on how many times I say hot and humid tomorrow when I'm on, or Sunday when I'm on air, right? So we'll track the heat for you, probably fine-tune that forecast towards the end of the week and get the percentages more in line with what day will be the wettest day of all of them, and also play around those temperatures because the forecast models yesterday had it looking like really cool for Friday, and now it doesn't look as cool, so might have to make some adjustments, but we'll fine-tune it as we get into the weekend and look beyond the week. So have a great weekend, Ray. You too. I appreciate it, Miranda. Bring on the heat. I love every minute of it. Grew up in New England, and I'm still thawing out. Miranda, I grew up in New England. I'm from Connecticut originally, and I am a big summer fan too. So I'm not ready to pull the plug on summer yet, but some people are, and that's okay. You do you, boo. That's it. You know, if you like summer, you're happy. If you want winter or fall, it's coming. We'll get there. Everybody have a fantastic rest of your night. Enjoy the weekend. Stay cool. And in all seriousness, if the heat bothers you, take breaks if you're outside. Stay hydrated. Common sense stuff. Check on the elderly. Check on the pets. If you don't want to go outside and it's really uncomfortable, make a plan indoors with some AC. Maybe if we have malls still, walk around the mall. I don't know, go see a movie, right? You can see a movie. They're air conditioned in there last I checked. I'm sure if they want people to come see a movie for 2 hours, they're going to have some AC. Grab yourself like a $14 popcorn and have yourself a good old time on that Saturday afternoon when it's really hot. You'll be inside the AC. It'll be great. Have a good night, everybody.